So we stopped here last week. So we saw the 6 urges, like all the 6 urges we completed. Like now, today we are going to explain in more, like in more depth, in a subtle way, and in all the urges of the body per Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is the guru of our very dear Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of ISKCON. So, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he used to give a deeper meaning, a further deeper meaning of all these concepts. So, let us see today what Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has to write in the words of Srila Prabhupada. Okay, so in his Anuvritti explanation of Upadeshamrita, okay, sorry, before we proceed into the class, please let us take the blessings of the beautiful deities of ISKCON Mangaluru, Sri Radha Govindaji, Sri Radha Govindaji ki Jai. Yeah, so now we start. In his Anuvritti explanation of Upadeshamrita, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes that our material identification creates 3 kinds of urges. What are they? The urge to speak, the urge or demands of the mind, and the demands of the body. Okay, so Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is going to talk about these 3 urges, the main things. Okay, the urge to speak, and the urge of the mind and body. Okay, so when a living entity falls victim to these 3 types of urges, his life becomes inauspicious. One who practices resisting these demands or urges is called tapasvi, or one who practices austerities. Okay, by such, actually tapasya means, see this, we've got this rare human life wherein we are actually supposed to do tapasya and get out of this body and go back to Godhead. So that should be our goal of life. Not that many people think that, okay, we've got this human life, we have got that extra intelligence, we'll live more comfortable than animals, we'll like earn more, we'll do ugra karma, and we'll lead a comfortable life. They think, what is the goal of life? Earn more. Everybody should talk about them like, oh, these people are so rich, so wealthy, and they want everybody to think that they have so much, like they're living such a luxurious, comfortable life. So that is their goal of life. But they don't understand that all this is temporary. As long as you have this body, it will remain, maybe, or else everything will perish. Either you have to go leaving this temporary world, or that object which you are trying to enjoy, that has to perish. So either one will have to go, but you cannot live, both cannot live permanently in this material world. Okay, so that they have to realize. Okay, so when a living entity falls victim to these 3 types, so that's why we have to do tapasya. So when you come in touch with a devotee or a spiritual master, then you come into this knowledge, you get this knowledge that this is the goal of life. Until then, we all don't know, we are in ignorance, we think that we are happily living, we are comfortable, we are so happy, so nice, we think. But once we come in touch with the acharyas and the devotees, then through the knowledge that they give us, we understand that we are actually suffering here. Till that time, we don't know we are suffering also. We think everybody, nice money, we have everything. But can you escape birth, death, old age, disease? It is common for everybody. Okay, even then they think that, oh, I'm so happy, but only when you come in touch with devotees and acharyas do you know that you're suffering, because Krishna himself says that, who created this material world through his energies, he himself says that this place is dukkhalayam. It's a temple of miseries. Where can you find happiness here? If it's a temple of miseries, dukkhalayam, right? So we all must be prepared that, okay, for sure we'll have difficulties here. It's not that you have taken to Krishna consciousness now and so all your problems will go away now. No, please don't think like that. In fact, you get more problems if you are Krishna conscious, because Krishna will test you in every step. Okay, I'm giving this difficulty to her. Will she still remain with me? He will test you. Only if you pass that will you go to the next level test. Like if you're a child, If you pass the third only, will you go to fourth, and then the test strength improves, right? As you go higher, the concept, the knowledge level increases. Okay, it becomes more difficult, but still you have to complete that course and you have to go to the next level, right? So like that, in Krishna consciousness also, you will get tests, you will get difficulties. In fact, after you start chanting, you will get more and more problems. Many people say, see, I was well off better before. I mean, like before chanting, I was so happy and peaceful. In fact, after chanting, I'm getting so many difficulties. So I don't want to do any chanting. I will stop this chanting and I'll go away from Krishna consciousness itself. That is what they say. No, that is wrong actually. In fact, if you are getting more difficulties, it means Krishna is taking care of you. Okay, he is giving you that test. Okay, I'm giving her this, him or her this difficulty. Will he pass this? Will he still stay with me? Will he still have faith that I will protect him? So Krishna will keep testing again and again. So we have to remain firm in faith that Krishna will protect whatever he does, because he's the supreme father. So whatever he does for our good. Okay. So actually, so I was talking about tapasya. So this human life is meant to do tapasya, not for sense gratification. That is why Prabhupada says, give this one life to Krishna. See, so many janmas you've given to Maya Devi. Just try, just give one life to Krishna. What will happen? See, so many lives you enjoyed, right? 84 lakh species of life, janmas you had, you enjoyed, right? Now give just this one life to Krishna and see what will happen. Okay, so we have to do tapasya. It's not meant for doing sense gratification like the animals are doing. The animals, anyway, they don't have knowledge. Leave them alone. Okay, so but we have that higher consciousness, better than animals, and any animal we have higher consciousness. We should not use it for enjoying sense gratification more comfortably. Okay, we should use that for getting out of this material world. Okay, so that we should do. By such tapasya, one can overcome victimization by the material energy. So when you do tapasya means what? When you take Krishna consciousness, you can overcome the material energy. You can get liberated from this material energy. You can get freed from the three modes of material nature. See, it is the modes of material nature that are binding us to this material world. Okay, so we are like tied up, our hands and feet and everything are tied up by these three gunas. Even though we don't want to do something, we are forced to do, because we are governed in this material world with the three gunas. Okay, which is the external potency of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when we refer to the urge to speak, we refer to useless talking, such as that of the impersonal Mayavadi philosophers. So, when we have the urge to speak, what is Prabhupada saying through Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's reference? What is he trying to say? When we want to talk, we should not talk useless talks like how the Mayavadi philosophers talk. What we should talk, if we open our mouth, we should only talk about Krishna, or else just keep silent. Don't talk nonsense. Okay, or don't talk what the impersonal Mayavadi philosophers. We'll see that in detail. So I'm just reading first, then we'll go into detail like what these Mayavadi philosophers useless talk is. Okay, that is the first example that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives, and Prabhupada is illustrating that. And second example they're trying to show is of persons engaged in fruitive activities, karma kanda. So many of us do this karma kanda, right? Generally, because before we come to Krishna consciousness, we were of the understanding that there is only after birth, we either go to heaven or hell. They don't know that there is a spiritual kingdom and where there is no birth and we don't again come back to this material world. They don't know that. So people generally, they think that there are only two places after death. Either we go to heaven or we go to hell. So that's why they do these karma kanda activities. They do all these yagnas, which are mentioned in the Vedas, and they do all these yagnas, sacrifices, so that they can go to heavenly planets or they can get a nice birth like that. Okay, so that is the second thing. So that also we'll discuss in detail. And third example they give is of materialistic people who simply want to enjoy life without restriction. So these people, they have so much money and they have a comfortable life. So they just want to, I mean, like they travel anywhere, they eat anywhere, they party. They just want to enjoy life without any restriction. Okay, so what is Prabhupada saying? All such talks or literatures are practical exhibitions of the urge to speak. See, all these books that we see, right, that come in the market. So the people who wanted to talk, all that is expressed in writing in the book, and they give it in the form of book. Okay, so that is what they're saying. All such talks or literatures are practical exhibition of the urge to speak, because they wanted to speak out. All that is given in the form of book. What they wanted to speak out, all that is stored in the mind, right? So they write it down and then they give it in the form of book. So many people are talking nonsensically and writing volumes of useless books. And all this is the result of the urge to speak. So, whatever they wanted to speak, the urge, the demand, the desire to speak comes out. They cannot tolerate. Somehow they want to let that out to everybody. So, they think writing in the form of a book is the best way, so that it can go to many people. So they start writing. Even Prabhupada says, right, the Bhagavad Gita, if one listens to a speech, it will be over. They will just hear here and they'll go away. But if it is given in the form of a book, it will stay with them for lifelong. So that's why books, Prabhupada says, books are the basis. Okay, so books are so important for us in Krishna consciousness also. So, okay, so to counteract this tendency, what do we have to do? Divert our talking to the subject of Krishna. Okay, so now let us see, like, what are these three examples in detail? We'll try to see. Okay, here you can see, right? So three examples that Srila Prabhupada gives. First one we said, right, Mayavadi philosophy, okay? So what do they say? They accept, we all know that, right? You have learned in L2 and L1 classes about what Mayavadi philosophy concept is. So they accept that Brahman is the only ultimate reality. That is, like, God has no form. He is impersonal. Okay, so any form, and other than that, what do they say? Any other form, whether material or even in the spiritual form of the Lord, for they see it as temporary or illusory, because they think that, see, when Krishna came to this material world, they think that Krishna is born of material elements. They don't think he's spiritual. They, because he has two hands just like any other person, they think he's material, because he's eating and sleeping and doing all activities, like he got married, he had children, and he was fighting. Like, they thought, like, he's just behaving like a normal man. So they thought he's a person with the material, born of material elements. They never thought he's God. Okay, so that is why they think that before Krishna, he came to this earth, they thought he is like God. He is that spiritual energy, formless, no form, only light or whatever that is, they think. Okay, but once Krishna has come here, they think that he is material, he is not God. They don't take him as God. Okay, so they don't believe in any personal form of the God. They take God as impersonal. Okay, and therefore bhakti, what do they consider bhakti? Actually, Prabhupada says bhakti is the ultimate, right? Bhakti, devotional service, is the medium where we can serve Lord, and we can please the Lord. That is the highest step for us. But for these people, Mayavadi, what do they consider? Bhakti. Therefore, bhakti or devotional service is treated as a means to purify the mind, so that one can eventually merge into Brahman. So for them, this bhakti or devotional service is like a step only. It's like, what do you say, before going to the highest stage, there is a pre-stage, right? Before stage. So they consider bhakti as a before stage, where it is used, devotional service we do, so that we can purify the mind. See, only if you purify the mind is steady and it can focus on the Lord. Okay, So they think bhakti or devotional service is an intermediary. Okay, before they can reach merge into Brahman, they need to purify their mind, purify their senses. So they do that through bhakti. So that is why they think bhakti is good. But they don't think that bhakti is the ultimate step. They think it is just a intermediary. It is meant for purifying the mind, so that when the mind is purified, finally they can merge into that impersonal Brahman. And after merging, what do they think? They think then no devotional service, because they merge into God, and they think they lose their individuality and they become one with God. Okay, so after merging, they think no need of any devotional service. Okay, it's like using a ladder to climb a roof and then discarding it. Okay, like that. So they use bhakti as an intermediary, a pre-stage thing. Okay, but why Prabhupada rejects this? See, Srimad Bhagavatam calls such people as Avishuddha Buddhayaha. So their intelligence is impure. Why? They deny the eternal personality of Godhead Krishna as the ultimate truth. He is the Parabrahman. Actually, that impersonal Brahman or that Brahmajyoti light is coming from the body of Krishna. It's the effulgence that is coming from the body of Krishna, because they can just see only till that light is so glaring, they think we can't, they are not able to see that light. So they think there is nothing beyond that. So, but once you enter that light, you can see Krishna. So, but they don't go that far. They just stop there because they're not able to see anything. They think that is it. That is God. That's all. Okay, and they consider the Lord's form and pastimes material. So we discussed, right? They think Krishna, because he's come in his two-handed form and he's behaving like a common man, doing all common activities. So they think his form, Lord's form and pastimes are material. So they mistake the temporary negation of matter, Brahmajyoti realization, for the positive, eternal reality of Krishna's spiritual abode. So they think it is like, they think that Brahmajyoti is the ultimate for them, because the personal form they have seen of Krishna is material. So they don't regard God as a supreme personality of Godhead as a person. Okay, so they think bhakti is not, Prabhupada says bhakti is not a mere step. It is the ultimate. Okay. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all Gaudiya Acharyas teach bhakti is both the means and the end. It is the solution for everything and it is the end to everything. See, if you want to control the senses, bhakti is the means, because you put your senses and everything in Krishna consciousness, in serving the Lord, in then your senses get controlled. So once your senses are controlled, you get purified, because of which you will be able to see God. You'll be able to go back to Godhead. See, it is both the means and it is the end. Okay. So bhaktya mam abhijanati. So only by devotion, Krishna himself is telling, only by devotion can one know Krishna. Okay. Devotion is eternal service in the spiritual world. See, what do we do after we get liberated? It's not that we are free and we'll do whatever we want. No, even after liberation, when we go to Goloka Vrindavan, there also we continue the same service that we were doing here. Actually, here we are practicing so that we become perfect and do it very well in the spiritual world. Not that here we have done, and after getting liberated and going to the spiritual world, we won't do anything, nothing. So all chanting is stopped, everything is stopped. No, we do chanting here and we do chanting there also. Even Radharani till date she does chanting always. She's always meditating on the name of Krishna. Okay, so don't think that, okay, I'm doing chanting and now, oh God, it is over. Now in the spiritual world, I'm liberated. Now I don't have to do chanting. No, you have to, you will be doing whatever you're doing here. This is just like an intern here. You're practicing here. That you'll be doing there. Okay, but what these Mayavadis think, they think they merge into the impersonal Brahman, they lose their individuality and they become one with God. And this is what they preach also. That is why Prabhupada is saying it is all useless talk that the Mayavadis say. They say that God has no form, God is impersonal. We become, finally, after liberation, we lose individuality. We merge into impersonal Brahmajyoti and we become one with God. And there is no devotional service after that. That is what they are trying to preach. All useless talk. Okay? But the highest goal is prema bhakti, pure love of God, not merging. Okay? So, how it is related? Okay? So, actually, this is related to. Okay, this I will explain later. Okay, so I'll just come back to that later. So now next they are saying Karmavada. Okay, next second example they are giving is about Karmavada, fruitive work. Okay, so faith in pious activities for material results. So before coming to Bhakti, what all of us thought, only doing Karma Kanda is the way to get out of this world. Okay, going to heavenly planets is the only thing. Nobody wants to go to hellish planets, right? So they don't want to do sinful activities intentionally. Maybe they do it accidentally or out of knowledge. Okay, so they are more interested in all these material results. Okay, they want results for themselves. That is why they do activities. Okay, so they do some for their sense gratification. So they invest so much, they expect something back from it. Okay, so that is karma kanda. So you do a yagna. Suppose you want to go to heavenly planets, you perform a sacrifice for Indra. Okay, Indra being satisfied, he'll give the results. So you do something so that you can go to the heavenly planets. So you do karma kanda means you do some karma with the expectation of some results. Okay, so the conviction that careful performance of Vedic rituals, sacrifices, charity, or moral duties will automatically produce the best results. What results they are expecting? Maybe some are looking for wealth, some are looking for long life, some are looking for heavenly pleasures, or some are looking to elevation to higher planets. Okay, so with the expectation of that, they do some karma kanda, the karma. Okay, so but the example in the scriptures, Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunyo Bhavajuna. What is Krishna saying in Bhagavad Gita 2.45? The Vedas mainly deal with the three modes, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. So you should rise above them. So Krishna tells Arjuna not to be captivated by the promises of heavenly enjoyment. See, Vedas, only a part of it deals with all these ritualistic activities. In Krishna, in another shloka also, Krishna says, of all the Vedas, I am to be known. So the main purpose of reading the Vedas is we have to know Krishna. And not, but what has, and as time passed, what has become the norm is like they think Vedas is only for ritualistic activities. Oh, what can I do so that I can get the best out of it? How I can stay happily by investing now, how I can stay happily, how I can get something good. Right now also we do some financial planning, right? So if we invest now, in the future we want to enjoy a comfortable life. That's why we invest, right? Like that. So they want to invest so that after that they can get a nice life or pleasures or whatever. They want to go to higher planets or whatever. Okay. So but Krishna is telling, see, that is not the main thing. Okay, so don't be get in the Vedas. You don't go that. Don't think that is the main thing. So don't be captivated by the promises of heavenly enjoyment. Okay, so what happens if you are captivated? The performer measures success by enjoyment. See, the material people, they see enjoyment. Success means how much they're enjoying, how much they're happy. They don't. They forget about Krishna. They want to see how much they are able to enjoy with the money. For that they will work like donkeys. Okay, and they want that comfort. They want that enjoyment. Okay, but not by pleasing Krishna. Such karma mishra mentality keeps one bound to repeated birth and death. Okay, the more you enjoy, it means that the more you are attached to those sense objects, right? You are attached to your family members, you're attached to your property, you're attached to your wealth, your money, like that. You're attached. The more you get attached, you will die with those only. Oh, my child, he's still not got a job. You will thinking about that only, and you'll go. Oh, my wife, how will she stay after I go? You'll think about that, and again you'll have to take birth because you're thinking about them. So you will get a janma in their house only, but maybe as a lizard or as a cockroach or as some insect or somehow. because you have developed that attachment to them. So you keep rotating because of that attachment, or because of that wealth that you have earned. You are born as a serpent to safeguard your wealth and everything like that, your farms, your lands, and everything. Okay, so you're bound in this repeated birth and death because of all these attachments and desires. Okay, so accepting karma as an independent law. So these people, they think that even more than Krishna, karma is higher. Karma is the one that can give us in better results. Okay, so they take karma as more important. I mean, let me just see, believing that the mechanical law of action and reaction, like a cosmic vending machine, so is the supreme controller. So they think that by doing this karma kanda, they get everything. Okay, what they think, the thought is, if I follow this formula, nature must reward me. So they think if I do this yajna, obviously nature will do its work for me. So they think nature will give everything to them. Okay, so I do this for the Vedas and Prakriti will give me. But what is the scripture telling? They don't understand that. What is the scripture telling? The correct thing in the scriptures, what it is saying? Maya Dyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sa Characharam. Material nature, Prakriti works under my supervision. It is not independent. So many people think that everything in this material nature, Prakriti is governing everything. They think that because they don't see the Supreme Personality of Godhead here. They think everything is being done by Prakriti only. But here they are correcting. Prabhupada is saying, Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita 9.10, Maya Dyakshena, in my supervision, Prakriti, material nature, Suyate Sa Characharam, it is working. So material nature is working under my supervision. Okay, so karma operates only because Krishna sanctions every result. See, if you want to go to heavenly planet, if Krishna sanctions only, then you will be able to go. It is said that even a blade of grass cannot move without the permission of the Lord. Okay, so they think that to think karma is supreme is to forget the personal will of the Lord. So if they are thinking karma is everything, it means that they are thinking karma is even more greater because they're forgetting the Lord. But it is Lord is the highest of all, right? Because the Lord's actions are karma, then only that karma can happen. So they don't understand that. So they think karma is ultimate. So if we perform that yajna or something, Prakriti will give us the result. So there is no need to worry. No need to think about God. It's like, I mean, like indirectly, they try to think about it like that. Okay. Okay, so this is what is about karma. Okay, so now let's go to the third one, the people who have material plans. Okay, third one, the people with materialistic desires. So these people are people who do more of social activities, political programs, economic planning. They think that is the real source of happiness. They find happiness there. Okay, so if they think that if society is organized properly, if we get the right environment or economic system, everyone will be satisfied. Okay, then devotion can run alongside these adjustments. So if everything is perfect, then along with that, I will do devotion. So many people think like that. See, now because I have this problem, I'm not able to do bhakti. Many people think. So when this situation gets perfect, okay, then I will start my bhakti. But that situation will never be perfect. It will never be done because Krishna says this is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So you cannot expect anybody and everybody or situation to be perfect here. You will have problems. So with these problems itself, you have to do your bhakti. They don't understand that if you do bhakti, automatically Krishna takes charge of the situation. Everything will come in line. But they're doing it in the reverse way. They think that if everything becomes perfect in this material world, then I will be able to do devotion along with that. Okay, so they're not understanding. But they should understand that if they do bhakti, then Krishna will take charge and everything will come in place. Okay, so even while performing bhakti, chanting worship, one subtly believes that, see, matter must be first perfected. So let me first be perfect, let everything be comfortable, then I will do bhakti. That is what they think. But that day will never come. You will think that now, see, like my wife is not cooperating in bhakti. Suppose the husband thinks, when my wife cooperates, I will take bhakti. That day will never come. But if you start practicing bhakti, Krishna seeing your sincerity, he will bring that changes in you so that the changes can be seen in the wife. The wife can see, oh, my husband has become so nice. How come he's changed like this? And then seeing the change, she will change. So it is possible because of Krishna, not either way. It is not that, oh, if she changes, then with her cooperation, then I will be able to bhakti. That day will never come. Okay, so this is what they think. So why it is problematic? Material plans are what? Temporary. See, dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So the material world is inherently temporary and full of misery. You cannot control it. You will have miseries here. There will never be this thing that, okay, you will be happy forever here. So no arrangement can remove this. So diverts faith from Krishna's will. So instead of complete dependence on Krishna, one depends on human schemes. So actually, if you see, all these are like, one second. Oh, Krishna, one second. Um, sorry, I was supposed to tell this first and tell that later. So, but please remember these points so that I will continue again from that point. Okay, again. So actually, I was talking about kind of speech, right? I went to the mind. I'm so sorry. Okay. So I'll just talk about speech first. So we were talking about three speeches, right? So impersonal Mayavadi philosophy. Please come to this topic. I'm so sorry. I just went to the next topic of the mind. I thought I was talking about the mind. Then I realized that I'm supposed to talk about speech. Okay. So speech, urge to speak. So impersonal Mayavadi philosophy. The Mayavadi speak volumes of speculative philosophy to prove that the Supreme Lord has no form or personality. Okay, they talk so much, they say that God has no form and he has no personality, he is formless. Okay, so what Prabhupada says, such talk, though apparently philosophical, is useless because it denies so that such a blabbering is like the croaking of a frog. It's like inviting death, right? Because they are not telling the ultimate reality, which is God is having a personal form. Is called the supreme personality of Godhead. So this talk misleads people. It just inflates the ego of the speaker rather than awakening love for Krishna. He goes far away from Krishna. Okay, it does not awaken love for Krishna. It only inflates his ego as a speaker. He will be speaking so polishedly, so nicely, so magically, or using all nice words and terms that he mesmerizes the audience. And the audience is very ignorant, right? They tend to think that, oh, is this the reality? So nowadays, you see any speaker, they speak so beautifully, but the concept itself is wrong. But they speak so beautifully, and though they put it in such a flowery language that we become convinced that this is the truth. That's why we should be very careful when we should follow the scriptures. We should understand the scriptures by the acharyas who are in that disciplic succession, in that guru parampara. So we should not blindly accept anybody as guru. Not that that guru has 1 lakh followers. Oh, whatever he says must be right. Oh, he's speaking so nicely. So then, yeah, he must be the guru. He must be the right guru for me. No, not like that. So we should go through the scriptures and then we should accept a guru who is in that guru parampara and understand the shastras through him. Okay, now and not that anybody comes, any speech comes. Like nowadays, you see YouTube, their shorts, and in Instagram, You get anybody and everybody, they speak about devotion, God, they say whatever comes to their mouth, they just speak. And we become so frequently used to all these, we listen and we have all this in mind, and we get confused. Oh, is this the reality? Is this the reality? Is that the truth? Is it like that? We have all these doubts and we get confused, and finally we leave everything. We do forget about the concept of God. We say there is no God. We get frustrated. So that is why we should not see, once we follow one philosophy, we should stick to that. And that philosophy which we stick also should be appropriate. Okay, we should follow the scriptures, and that we should understand scriptures through that Guru Parampara. Not that one person just comes out from nowhere and he says that I am Guru, you listen to me, I have 1 lakh followers. You can do whatever you want. You can smoke, you can do whatever you want, you can eat. But give me some money. I will give you blessings and then you do whatever you want. Not like that. Okay. Okay, that's why they're saying these Mayavadis, they do such useless talks. Now, Karma Kanda discussions. Karma Kanda, what they say. In Karma Kanda means what? The Vedic rituals are performed solely for what? Material prosperity, heavenly enjoyment, or good birth or wealth, etc. Okay, so people who endlessly discuss or promote these rituals are still speaking only of temporary fruits. Okay, so whatever, see, even if they're going to heavenly planets, that is also temporary, right? A heavenly planet, Swarga, is also a temporary, I mean, it's a material planet. That also someday it has to get washed away during Pralaya. It also has a start and an end date. So whatever we fruits that we are discussing about karma kanda means are temporary. You take anything, you want good birth, that is temporary. Wealth, that is temporary. Heavenly enjoyment, that is temporary. Okay, so it's useless talking. And but nobody talks about the permanent things. Okay, not talk about the eternal soul or devotional service. Okay, so this kind of speech keeps them bound to the cycle of birth and death. See, they will be rotating in this material realm because of attachment to pious activities. So, because they perform pious deeds, they go to heavenly planets or they get a good birth. And when they have pious credit in heavenly planets gets done, I mean, that's completed, nullified, they again have to come back to this earthly planet. So like this again, maybe they will maybe they'll get a human birth. Again, they do pious activities. Again, they rotate. So they get attached to all these pious activities, and they'll be roaming in this uh, cycle of birth and death. So that is why that is what they're telling about karma kanda. Okay, people who discuss only about this, always promoting. Oh, you do. You see in the ads also. They say, if you wear this ring, this will happen to you. If you put this stone, this will happen to you. Or if you wear this necklace, this will happen to you. Your fate will change. This will happen. That will happen. Nowadays, this is so frequent. Okay, if you wear this Rudraksha, this will happen to you. Okay, so all this is nonsense actually. Okay, this is temporary. Okay. Next, third is like material gossip and enjoyment they're talking about. So, what is this material gossip? We earlier discussed also, right? In Urge to Speak, they talk of politics, business profits, family quarrels, entertainment, or mundane pleasures is also called. All this is called prajalpa, idle talk. So, we should not get involved in all these. It's of no use. You talk of politics, what is the use? You talk of business profits, what is the use? Family quarrels, why do you want to unnecessarily argue? Just leave it. Okay, entertainment. What is the use of discussing this hero did that, that person did that, she wore this sari? What is the use of all that mundane talk? Okay, you're just wasting your time. Okay, so even I mean, like it is not, even if not directly harmful, such conversation strengthens identification with the body. So when you do all these, you are talking on the bodily platform. So please realize that. Okay, you take in consideration a body and you relate it to your body. So when you talk about entertainment, you talk about that hero, you also want to be like that hero. I want to wear that hero shirt like that. I want to put my hairstyle like that. I want to put the belt like that. I want to wear the pant like that person. I want to put the cosmetics that he put like that. We connect to the body. So all these prajalpa useless talk is connected to the body, and It weakens remembrance of Krishna. We forget that we are soul. We are actually not this body. Okay, the soul actually, depending on a karma, it has taken a dress in this janma as human body. We are actually soul. You don't say I body, you say this body, right? When you say I am doing it, it is the I is the soul, not the body. You don't say I body, you say my body, right? So you are not the body, you are the soul. Okay. So even though see all these talks, in all these things we are like more focused on body. We forget about Krishna. Okay, we think we are more on the bodily platform. Okay, so that's why there is no intervention of Krishna here at all. Okay, such talk is useless. But what should we talk? They're telling about. See, we should talk about a subject of Krishna. So next, what? Let's see. This is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.10 to 11. There are two shlokas. Okay, let's read 10 first. Nayad vachas chitra padam harer yashom jagat pavitram pragranita karhichit tadvayasam tirdam ushanti manasa nayatra hamsa nirmanti ushik shayaha. What are they saying here? Those words which do not describe the glories of the Lord, who alone can sanctify the atmosphere of the whole universe, are considered by saintly persons to be like unto a place of pilgrimage for crows. Since the all perfect persons, like the swans or hamsas, um, uh, all perfect persons are inhabitants of the transcendental abode, they do not derive any pleasure. So here the three main words that are important are Chitrapadam, Hamsa and Vayasam Tirtham. So let's discuss about that, okay, in detail. What they're saying, see? So Vayasa Tirtha means what? Vayasa Tirtha means it's a place of pilgrimage for crows. Okay, where crows gather. Okay, so where do crows generally gather? Where there is filth, right? Where it's dirty, garbage, where all rot is there, they gather over there. Okay, so crows are compared to people, materialists, who are more interested in mundane newspapers, novels, gossip, or speculative philosophy. Okay, so Vayusatirtha is such people like who are like crows. They are interested in filth. What is that filth they are interested? These materialists, mundane newspapers, novels, gossip, or speculative philosophy. But Hamsas, what they do? Where do we see the swans? They're generally seen in clean water or clean places where there is no garbage. So the Hamsas, the devotees, pure devotees are compared to Hamsas. So pure devotees, Paramahamsas, they relish only Krishna Kada. Okay, so they are not interested in all these mundane newspapers, novels, gossip, and all that. Okay, so they're always talking about Krishna Katha. They don't want any other Katha. They're a mundane Katha, they're not at all interested. And there is the third one, that is Chitrapadam. Even if the writing is decorated with beautiful literary ornaments, if it is lacking glorification of Hari, it is spiritually useless. See, we've discussed right now the books or the way they talk is so flowery and so nice that they attract everybody. So they speak so nicely, so beautifully that they think, oh, this must be real, like that. Okay, but what they're saying here, Chitrapadam means even if the writing is decorated with beautiful, or the way they talk is decorated with beautiful literary ornaments, if it lacks glorification of Hari, it is spiritually useless. How much ever grandly they decorate the book, how much ever beautiful words are there, if all that is there, but still Krishna is not there in picture, Krishna is not mentioned over there, then it is spiritually useless. Okay, so what they're trying to say, see, practically newspapers, TV shows, radio chatter, internet gossip is all full of beautiful words. That's why we get attracted. when we see a serial or when we see a TV program or newspapers or anything, internet or YouTube, we see all these, we get attracted by their beauty, the way they present it, everything, the words they talk, it attracts us so much. But there is no Krishna there. So that is like Vayasa Tirtha. It's a place where crows gather. Okay. Intelligent people may get attracted to this style of presentation, but saintly people find no nourishment there. So pure devotees are never attracted to such. They are not interested. They don't find any nourishment there. Where do they find nourishment? Only sound vibration of glorifying the Lord purifies the atmosphere and the heart. Okay, so they find happiness there only, where the Lord is glorified. So, what are they trying to say? Finally, words that do not glorify Krishna are like filthy ponds where crows gather, even if it is poetic or famous. See, that fiction book, maybe it is very poetic, very nice, everything is very nice, but it will not attract the pure devotees, even however nice it may be, however nicely they may talk. But because there is no concept of Krishna there, they are not interested because it cannot uplift the soul. It is still on the bodily platform. Okay. On the other hand, words that praise the Lord are like swan's lake of nectar, where saintly persons take real pleasure because such vibration alone leads to liberation. Okay, so this is important. So this is what we have to understand. How much ever poetic, how much ever nice they talk or they put it in the book, that is not important for us. Okay, but the main thing is Krishna should be there. Okay, otherwise all those books or talks are like useless. Let's see the next shloka in Bhagavatam, the 11th shloka. What they are saying, Tadvag Visargo Janataga विप्लवो यस्मिन् प्रतिश्लोकम् अबद्धवत्यपि नामानि अनन्तस्य यशो अंकितानि यत् शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति साधवः. So what they are saying, on the other hand, that literature which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, forms, pastimes, etc., of the unlimited Supreme Lord is a different creation, full of transcendental words directed towards bringing about a revolution in the impious lives of the world's misdirected civilization. So, such transcendental literatures, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. So, what are they trying to say here? See, they're trying to say the power of Krishna Katha. So, if Krishna Katha, even in Krishna Katha, if you find that there is some grammatical error or if the meter is not good, the way they are pronouncing is not good, or it is not, the words are not like very stylish or literally polished, that is lacking. The content is lacking properly, but it is Krishna's glories. Then it has spiritual potency. Okay, so even if the sentence formation is not good, the meter, the way they are pronouncing and the slokas is not good, even the style is not good, but it has Krishna's glories. Then it has spiritual potency. Not necessarily that has to be flowery language. Then only I will understand. Then only that spiritual potency will come. No, however it may be. Okay, so such sound vibration purifies the heart. Sometimes we may not be able to pronounce the shlokas properly, right? Don't worry. Okay, Krishna will understand. He knows us, right? Like when a small child, when he's born, he cannot pronounce the words properly. In fact, we cherish those words, right? So, like that, Krishna also doesn't mind. He understands. Nobody, pronounces the word wrongly intentionally, right? So, he understands. So, the main thing is the intention is the vibration, that is important, whether that is going on with the correct intent. Okay, so such sound vibration purifies the heart and can create a new revolution in the society. So, what is the revolution? So, now the whole world is materialistic. Now they are more into sense gratification. They want to enjoy their senses. Then if the people, I mean, like if such, because of such sound vibration, purification takes place, and all the material people will change to spiritual. So everything, the material enjoyment will change to spiritual service of the Lord. So that is the revolution that takes place. Because when people take to chanting and discussing Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, the whole entire atmosphere changes, because we are no longer interested in satisfying our senses. We want to satisfy the senses of Krishna, right? So that is why it becomes spiritual service. We leave material enjoyment and are directed to spiritual service. Okay. And next point, what Prabhupada is trying to say is contrast to mundane literature. So in the previous verse, we saw just now, right, in the 10th verse, we saw that flowery words without Krishna as Vayasatita. How much ever we saw, right, in the previous sloka, that in that novel, good words are used and everything, but Krishna is not there. So that is Vayasatita, we said. But here, what are we saying? Even a rough composition, even if it is not flowery, also no problem. Even it is grammatically, it is full of mistakes. But even if it has a rough composition, but we can understand this is the spelling mistake or something like that. But we understand the meaning. So even a rough composition is precious if it glorifies the Lord. Okay, not necessary that we should have flowery words and everything like that. If it is understandable by us, even that rough composition that is present, if it is glorifying the Lord, that is enough for us. It purifies us. Okay. And effect of on the world. So these books awaken the dormant devotion. So when we do chanting, when we read Prabhupada's books, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, that dormant love, devotion that we have for Krishna, it's already there. We are not bringing it from outside. It is always almost it's dormant in our heart. So we just have to awaken that dormant love. Okay, so how do we do that? By all these talking, all these books, chanting through Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, or through preaching. Okay, so we get purified. Okay, so these books awaken dormant devotion and destroy the ignorance that causes sinful life. So otherwise, what we'll do? We think we are this body and we try to satisfy our sense. We do more and more sense gratification, and by which we will be repeatedly be born in this janma mrityu jara vyadhi cycle. We can never be liberated. Only through this knowledge can we get liberated, right? So that is why Vyasadeva was instructed to compile the Bhagavatam to give people a direct taste of Krishna. So what is the main practical takeaway for us? See, quality of the subject is more important than the quality of style. See, nowadays, the package is given so much importance, but the product is not that good. So we get attracted by the package itself. Outside package is so nice. We think that inside also it will be good. But outside package nowadays in Kali Yuga, it will be like that. The importance they give outside to the package of the product is not there in the product. Okay. So quality of subject is more important than quality of style. The way they are presented is not important. What is there in the subject that we've understood or not is more important. Okay. See, a simple kirtana, a poorly printed pamphlet, or a rustic devotee speech can carry more spiritual impact than the most polished mundane literature. Right? How much the mundane literature, how much ever polished it is, what is the use of that? It is just for that moment and then it is over. See, in the newspaper, you read news, that is over for that second. Even by afternoon, it gets updated. What is the use of such literature? But the spiritual literature stays forever. It never changes. Right? Hearing and chanting are the key. So Shrinvanti, Gayanti, Grananti Sadhavaha. So what do saintly people do? They hear, sing and repeat such topics because they transform both the speaker and the listener. So we know how the speaker and listener means immediately we remember Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadev Goswami. Right? Who is the speaker? Sukadev Goswami, and the listener is Parikshit Maharaj. So Parikshit Maharaj, by hearing, he attained Goloka Vrindavan. And Sukadev Goswami, by talking about the Lord, Srimad Bhagavatam, he went back to Godhead. Okay, so that is required. Okay, so transcendental literature glorifying the Lord is a spiritual revolution because it purifies both the speaker and hearer. So, such kind of knowledge we should listen to, not mundane literature where the words may be flowery, attractive. That is useless, how much ever they present it that way. Okay, so because this transcendental literature, it purifies our heart of both the speaker and the hearer. So, regardless of the material circumstances. Okay. So even if imperfectly expressed, it is cherished by honest souls because it carries the life-giving sound vibration of Krishna. So which alone can uplift a misdirected world. Okay. So this is about, so the conclusion is that only when we talk about devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we can refrain from useless nonsensical talk. So we should always endeavor to use our speaking power solely for the purpose of realizing Krishna consciousness. So we are done with the urge to talk. So what should we do? We should talk only about Krishna and not talk about all the three topics we saw, right? Not talk about that. Okay. Mundane topics we should not talk about. Next, now urge to speech is over. Now next is they're coming to mind. So now as per the agitations of the flickering mind, they are divided into two divisions. So actually earlier we were discussing actually about the mind. That's what I was wondering why this has come so that, okay, I'll just continue from there only. Hopefully you all remember the points what I have already discussed. So the first is called Avarodha Preeti or unrestricted attachment. Okay, so the unrestricted attachment, first we'll talk about that, and then we'll come to Virodha Yukta Krodha, anger arising from frustration. That will come later. So, what is this Avirodha Preeti? Adherence to the philosophy of the Mayavadis, belief in the fruitive results of the Karmavadis, and belief in plans based on materialistic desires. Till now, we saw about speech, also about mind, we saw, but how it is Avarodha Preeti, we'll see now. Okay, based on materialistic desires are called Avarodha Preeti. Okay, so let's see that now. See, what is the meaning of Avirodha Preeti? A means not, Virodha means opposition, opposite. Okay, not favorable. Preeti means something that you like, affection, you have attachment to, affection, pleasure. So what is Avirodha Preeti? Means you take pleasure in things that are not apparently opposed to devotion. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada explains that this refers to a person like who outwardly he continues devotional practices, but secretly finds satisfaction in materialistic and impersonal ideas. Because outwardly they do bhakti, and it's not like they're hostile to bhakti. Okay, so they do bhakti, but secretly also they have these materialistic. They want to do sense gratification also. Okay, it is indirectly that meaning. So they take pleasure in things that are not apparently opposed to devotion. Okay. So now let's see the examples. So now we saw this Mayavad philosophy till here, right? What they are actually talking about. They think that bhakti is just a pre-step. Okay, so now let's see what they say about relation to Avarodha Preeti. Why? As mentioned earlier, Avarodha Preeti means it's a subtle thing. So Avarodha Preeti means it's related to the mind. You cannot see it. It all happens subtly. Okay, so means a subtle affection for ideas that don't openly fight bhakti but quietly dilute. So all this like is in depth. See, as we as practicing bhaktas, we may think that, oh, what will happen if I do some subtle enjoyment, I mean, some material enjoyment? I'm doing bhakti, na, what is there? But that bhakti is like Mishra, they say, it's a mixture bhakti. If you really want to go back to Godhead, you should remove all this also. You should not have the slight tinge of sense enjoyment. You should use all your senses always for gratifying the senses of Krishna. Even that in the mind also you should not have. Okay? So here, that is what. See, we do bhakti at the same time. So we do bhakti and at the same time we do sense gratification also. See, we do bhakti and we go for movies, we go for parties, we watch TVs, we watch movies, we go to restaurants, we eat non-veg, we eat onion garlic, we drink tea, coffees, we do all this. So we think, what will happen? I'm doing bhakti, right? Well, anyway, I'm doing bhakti. So what is the problem? No, those are not favorable for bhakti. So in actually outwardly they may look like for you like what has that got to do with this? And I'm practicing, I'm doing chanting, I'm reading Prabhupada books. What has that got to do? Okay, but what it does is it actually undermines the eternal position of the Lord. Okay, so what is happening is thinking all is Brahman. What do they think? All is Brahman and devotion is just a helpful step. Seems respectful. See, in their mind, it looks like as if they're respecting bhakti, devotional service. Okay, but they're underestimating it indirectly, right? They are underestimating the eternal position of the Lord and his devotees by giving it a lower step. Okay, they're just thinking it is a step, and then they're thinking using that step they can go to a higher step. They're undermining it indirectly. Okay, but directly they are saying, okay, before we merge into impersonal Brahman, this is one step where it's nice. If we do bhakti devotional service, we get purified, and then we can go into impersonal Brahman. Outwardly, it doesn't look like it's they're irrespecting or something like that. Okay, but they're actually subtly they're undermining the bhakti as a lower step. Okay, so that we have to understand. So all this is like subtle. We don't think it is like really affecting or not. Okay, so the what is the takeaway? The statement all is Brahman, devotion is the steps, that is a reflects the Mayavadi misunderstanding. So Srila Prabhupada repeatedly emphasized that Krishna's personal feature is the supreme absolute truth, and that devotion to him is final, eternal perfection. It is not a temporary ladder to be discarded. Okay, so even after we get liberated, when we go to Goloka Vrindavan, there we maintain our individuality. There also we serve the Lord. Lord has a form. We have in fact, we have a relationship with the Lord. There are five rasas, you all must be knowing, right? Shanta rasa, Dasya rasa, Sakya rasa, Vatsalya rasa. These are the five main, and there's seven other secondary also, and Madhurya rasa. So eternally, all of us have a relationship with Krishna. So in this relationship, we serve the Lord. Okay, so that is there. God is a person, we have a relationship, and we serve Lord with that relationship. That we have to understand. Okay, so next is Karma Vada, Karma Kanda we were discussing, right? So we came to Karma Kanda, and we were thinking, right? If I do this, if I follow this yagna, nature will reward me. So that is more than enough now for me. Okay, so why this is Avarota Preeti? Why? So Srila Rupa Goswami clarifies this mentality. Why? See, we have affection for something not outwardly opposed to bhakti. Okay, it may seem harmless. See, when we do all these karma kandas, it may sound, I mean, like there is no harm. We are not doing any harm. Outwardly, we are not opposing bhakti. So we are not rejecting bhakti. So it looks like, see, from the mind perspective, right? It seems harmless. Performing Vedic sacrifices, we'll say that it is religious, right? But it quietly diverts the heart from exclusive dependence on Krishna. So we don't depend on Krishna. We are not confident, oh, will Krishna really save me? So that is why, we do all these sacrifices. Okay, let me myself take the effort. Let me perform this yagna so that at least if Krishna doesn't save me, I will perform this yagna so that at least I will go to heavenly planets. Okay, so this is the way we are undermined subtly, but maybe outwardly it looks like as if you're not opposing bhakti, you're not denying bhakti, you are accepting bhakti, you are doing bhakti, still you are doing, I mean, like you should be confident if you're doing bhakti, Krishna will save me at any cost, but you don't have that faith. That is why you're performing all this. Okay, so that is why you're doing. So if I do this, I will get this. So because you want to be comfortable or happy after your death or whatever. Okay, so what is so we don't depend. We It diverts our heart from exclusive dependence on Krishna. We don't depend on Krishna. So what is Prabhupada saying? Pure devotional service begins when one is free from the desires for fruitive gain and speculative knowledge. So the first thing we saw, right, speculative knowledge. They say that God is has no form, so they keep speculating. And now for fruitative gain. So we should depend on Krishna and we should not look for any fruitative gain. So whatever action work we do, we should leave the result to Krishna, with not with some desire that we want to get something. No. Okay. So we should, if we really think Krishna will help us, we depend on Krishna. Then we don't do all these fruitative activities, right? So that is there in the nectar of devotion. So actually, I'm sorry, I didn't know the order. There was Mataji, our seniors were saying that first we had to take nectar of devotion, then nectar of instruction, and then Ishopanishad. So I followed the previous Prabhuji, and they told me that this was the flow that we have to follow. So then I had to take nectar of instruction first. Okay, but nevertheless, no problem. So we'll do nectar of instruction and then we'll go to nectar of devotion and then Ishopanishad last. Okay. So here, nectar of devotion to said that. So the devotees act only for Krishna's satisfaction, knowing that his personal will, not the blind law of karma, gives all results. So they don't depend on karma. The devotees don't depend. So they just work for Krishna. Only for Krishna's satisfaction they work without any expectation, knowing that Krishna will take care of them. Okay, they don't serve Krishna with the expectation that Krishna, I'm doing this for you, now you do this for me. No, they just do it out of love for Krishna, to satisfy Krishna, okay, without any gain. Okay, so what a karmavadi will do, he'll think that if I act piously, he will obviously prakriti, because I'm doing the duty as per the scriptures. Vedas are saying. So if I act piously, he thinks that okay, I will get whatever I have to get for me to be happy. But what is bhakti? Whatever Krishna desires is perfect, because he knows Krishna is the supreme father. So whatever Krishna gives me, that is perfect. So my only duty is to serve him with love. He knows what is best for me. He is the Supreme Father. He will take care of me. He will give what he knows what he has to give me. So he will give me everything. Okay. So I will just serve Krishna. It is my duty to serve him out of love. Remaining, I will leave it to Krishna. That is the thing. Okay. So freedom from Karmavada allows. So when you get freedom from that, it allows the heart to taste Shuddha Bhakti. See, if you make your own plans, then what is the use of taking shelter of Krishna then? You are doing Krishna consciousness, at the same time you are doing karma kanda. So what is the use? Right? You don't have faith in Krishna. That is why you are doing this karma kanda, right? But what is said in Bhagavad Gita? If you do devotional service, it is like doing all the karma kanda activities. You are reading all the Vedas. You are performing all the social activities. Everything you are doing, all the sacrifices. But we don't have faith. Okay, but when we give up this karma kanda and we have that complete faith on Krishna, then we'll be able to taste that Shuddha Bhakti, pure love of God, which is beyond all material calculations. Okay. So here the third one, like we read about material plans, right? So they think that if everything in this world is perfect, then I will do Krishna consciousness. So that will never be possible. So here, what is the key instruction that pure bhakti means what? Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam. Okay, here. So what is Prabhupada saying? So Srila Prabhupada always repeatedly said, no political adjustment will make people happy. Okay, so you may think that if the government changes, everything will become peaceful. He may make this change, then everything will be perfect. Then maybe I can take Krishna consciousness, uh, and then I will practice Krishna consciousness. Then I will do bhakti. No, See, only Prabhupada is telling only Krishna consciousness can give that real peace. Not any political adjustment or not any material adjustment that you make. No. In fact, it is the reverse. If you practice Krishna consciousness, then you get real peace, then everything gets into place. Okay, even noble social work becomes kaitava dharma, cheating religion, if it distracts from pure service. See, even if you do some social work, like for Annadana, if it is not related to Krishna, it is like it is not pure service. It is like cheating, cheating religion, kaitava dharma. That is what Krishna is telling here. Prabhupada is telling. Okay, you should do any service, any social activity also that you're doing charity. You should do it for Krishna. Okay, you, otherwise, it is like cheating religion, Prabhupada is saying. Okay, it is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so anything what you do, it's not wrong. But when you do it for sense enjoyment. If you're doing Annadana without the intervention of Krishna, you're doing it for your sense gratification. You want the name and fame to go to you. You want to take the credit that I'm doing Annadana for so many people. But when you bring Krishna in picture, you know that Krishna is the center. You understand that I'm not the person who is capable of giving so much donation for Annadana. Krishna is making me do that. So you put Krishna in the center. Okay, so that should be the thing. Okay, only if Krishna is giving us that we are able to give, right? So we are thanking Krishna and we put Krishna in the picture and then we do any social activity. So the key instruction is pure bhakti means anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam. So what anyabhilashita means, you should not have any anya, abhilasha, no desires. Okay, including plans to adjust matter for happiness. Nothing in this material world you can adjust for happiness. This is dukkhalayam. Only thing that can give you peace and bring you peace is take into Krishna consciousness. Okay, a devotee may engage in social service as service to Krishna. See, he may engage in social service as a service to Krishna, keeping Krishna in center, but not the root cause of happiness. It's not that he wants to enjoy. I do seva so that I can enjoy, so that I get the name, fame, and everything, but not as the root cause of happiness. You should not do it that way. Okay, you should do it as a service to Krishna. Okay, the only real solution is exclusive surrender to the Lord's personal will. Okay, so we should do everything, we should surrender everything ourselves, whatever we have, in the service of Krishna. Okay, so actually, we said, right, these tendencies, they seem harmless actually. So what will happen if I do some, say, I mean, like a social charity without, I mean, like sacrificing it to the Lord? I am anyway doing bhakti. What is wrong in that? See, that's what I said. Certainly, it looks harmless. Okay, because they are not open opposition to the Lord, unlike atheism or blasphemy. Okay, so because openly they are not rejecting the Lord, right? Outwardly they are doing bhakti and they are not rejecting the Lord or anything. So it may not look like atheism or something. Okay, but what happens? It weakens exclusive surrender. Okay, you are not surrendering, you are still in that enjoying propensity. You want to get the credit. Okay, though you are doing bhakti also, indirectly you are not surrendering to the Lord. So if you surrender to the Lord, what is the problem? Okay, why don't you do it as a service to Krishna, that whatever charity that you're doing? Okay, subtly we are looking for sense gratification. Okay, so we should do Ananya Bhakti. That is what, nothing for our sense gratification. Okay, what is real bhakti? Ananya bhakti is we should not have subtle affection for Mayavada or karma or material planning. So all these three plans, we should not have subtle affection also. Even in the mind, we should not have. Okay, it dilutes pure devotional service. So what are they trying to say in these 3 points? One must be free from the desire for jnana, karma, and material plans. Otherwise, one cannot get the full taste of loving service to Krishna. As long as we have that slight tinge of sense gratification that I want to do something for myself, you won't taste that love for Krishna, because you don't have full faith in Krishna, right? Only when you have that full faith, you leave everything to Krishna, then you get that real love. You can taste that love for Krishna. You have that confidence that Krishna will come, He will help me, He will guide me, He will protect me. Then you will taste the real love. Otherwise, till that time, see, if you make plan A, plan B, then why will Krishna come and help you? If you take all your steps to protect yourself, then why will Krishna come? What is the necessity for Krishna comes? Krishna thinks, oh, he's made his plans anyway, so what is the need for me to come and protect him? He will leave us. He has made his plans, so let him make his plans. See, even the Draupadi in Vastrapaharna, she didn't go to Krishna. That's why even Krishna didn't come. So she first went to Dronacharya, Bhishma, she went to Gandhari, she went to Dhritarashtra, the Pandavas, everybody she went. Finally, then she understood. Nobody can help, only Krishna can help. Then she took. Okay, so that's what these material things, nothing can help us. I mean, in fact, they take us far from Krishna. Even subtly, also, you saw right now how we discussed. Subtly, they take us away from Krishna. We don't get that pure love of Krishna. Okay. See, so Mayavada, they talk about impersonal Brahman. So they deny what? Krishna's real personality. So Karma Kanda, what do they think? They want fruitative results because they're not confident that Krishna will give protection. So they try to earn some fruitative results. So they trust karma as a mechanical law. They think more than Krishna, they depend more on karma. Okay, so that's why they perform all these sacrifices. It's because they lack faith in Krishna. Okay, let me also do this besides bhakti. Okay, and now all these social and economic active schemes. So material well-being. So we think that if materially everything becomes well, then I can start my bhakti. So it means they have no confidence in Krishna, that Krishna will take care of my situation and then everything will become all right. Okay, so he shifts his trust from Krishna. He doesn't have faith on Krishna. He faith to human planning. He makes his own plans. He doesn't trust Krishna will protect him. So like that. So all three form avarodha priti, affection that seem harmless. They seem harmless actually. What will happen if I do karma kanda? I'm anyway doing bhakti also, right? But subtly we don't have faith. Okay, even in the social economic schemes. See, we are making plans financially everywhere in the material world because we don't trust Krishna. Maybe we are not sure He'll protect us. So that's why we are planning. So subtly we are thinking, oh, let me do this also in case what if Krishna doesn't protect me? I will at least have this. So like that. So it drives us from that love of exclusive love for Krishna. Okay, so that is the thing. So now let's go to the next one. Oh my God, it's 8:30 today also. Hopefully I complete or not. Okay, and next we'll discuss about other is called Virodha Yukta Krodha. So what is that? See, when the materialists cannot fulfill their plans and when the devices are frustrated, they become angry. Okay, when our desires, lust is not fulfilled. We saw that in Bhagavad Gita, right? There is a complete cycle how we fall down till we fall down, right? Delusion and all the steps are there, right? When we get angry, when our desires, our lust is not fulfilled, then we get angry. From anger, delusion comes. From delusion, bewilderment of memory comes. And then finally we fall down. So we saw all those steps, right? So frustration of material desires produces anger. Suppose, for instance, you ask your mother to buy a cell phone, okay, and your mother doesn't buy you the cell phone, so you get angry, right? So it's just a small example. Okay, so this is the thing. So this is one kind of agitation of the mind. We get angry when our desires are not fulfilled. Okay, so similarly the demands of the body can be divided into three categories. Now in the bodily platform we see, so the demands of the tongue, the belly and the genitals. Okay, so one may observe that these three senses are physically situated in a straight line. Like, yeah, you can see, right? Tongue is here, the belly is here and the genitals. They are in a straight line. Okay. As far as the body is concerned, and that the bodily demands begin with the tongue. If one can restrain the demands of the tongue by limiting its activities to eating of prasada, the urges of the belly and the genitals can automatically be controlled. So, what are they saying? If we control the urges of the tongue, then automatically the belly and the genitals will be controlled. How? See? See, Prabhupada says the tongue has two functions. It is tasting and vibrating. So if we control what we eat and what we speak, the belly, udara, and the genitals, upastha, are automatically they come under control. Okay, if we control these two through the tongue. So belly, see, when the tongue is restricted, when we eat only Krishna Prasad, that food that is offered to the Lord, and not sense gratification. Sense gratification means we don't offer it to the Lord. Oh, you just grab it and eat it. For you want to satisfy your senses. You don't offer it to Krishna. Okay, then if you have Krishna Prasada, automatically you won't do this overeating, or you don't want to do this, you give up all these unhealthy eating habits that do not disturb digestion now. Okay, so when you have Krishna Prasada, you don't overeat, you don't eat wrong foods. So obviously there is no disturbance in digestion. So everything is peaceful. And genitals, see, when you overindulge in eating, overeat, uh, that stimulates sexual desire. Okay, controlling the tongue keeps the lower urges subdued. Okay, so eating in minimal controls, I mean, like eating too much, it stimulates sexual desire. Eating very like normally we eat minimally, right? So like how we eat normally, if we eat Krishna Prasada, then your sexual urges are subdued. So what is Prabhupada saying? If you control the tongue, if you can control the tongue, all other senses you can easily control. So that is the main culprit. The main thing is we can never control the tongue, the urge to speak and taste. We need both these. Something or the other we have to utter, blabber. Something or the other, 24 hours we want to eat. It is tongue is very difficult to control. So that's why we give to, at least start the process by giving Krishna Prasad. Okay, so here the Prabhupada is saying the belly and genitals are very close friends of the tongue. Okay, so if you do not control the tongue, then you cannot control the genitals and the belly. Okay, simply engage the tongue in chanting Hare Krishna and eating Krishna Prasada. This is the beginning of sense control. Okay, so eat only Krishna Prasada, food first offered to the Lord. Avoid overeating and intoxicants like drinking, all drinking means liquor, all those beer, all those you should avoid, and avoid overeating also. Okay. And chant and speak only Krishna Katha, no gossip, criticism, or mundane talk. So, by these practices, the tongue becomes spiritualized. Since the belly follows the tongue and the genitals follow the belly, so controlling the tongue brings the other senses naturally under regulation. So, if you control the tongue, not even belly and genitals, everything will come under control. Okay, so that is what they're saying. So they're saying controlling the tongue, both in taste and speech, is the master key to controlling the belly and genitals, and therefore to mastering all other urges, even all the other urges, not only belly and genitals. Okay, all the other urges on the path of devotional service can be controlled by just controlling the tongue. So, and what does and in this connection, Srila Bhakti Vinoda Thakura says, so Bhakti Vinod Thakur is the father of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Okay, so what is he saying? See, we all, I'm not sure if all of you know this prayer. So we do this prayer when we honor prasadam. Every time we have breakfast or lunch or dinner prasadam, we say this prayer and we thank God, okay, for the prasadam. So we say, Sharira Vidya Jal, Jadendriya Tahe Kal, Jive Pele Vishasagore, Tara Madhye Jihvati, Lobha Moy Sudurmati, Take Jeta Katina Samsare, Krishna Bada Doya Moy, Karibari Jihva Jai, Swaprasada Anna Bhai, Tila Bhai, Sei Annamrita Khao, Radha Krishna Gun Gao, Premi Daka Chaitanya Nitai. So we sing this. So what does this mean? I'll tell you the meaning. Okay, so this we sang, right? So we are saying, oh Lord, Sharira Avidya Jal. So this body, this material body is Avidya. It's like lump, it's Avidya Jal. So it's a lump of ignorance. Okay, Sharira Avidya Jal. This body is a lump of ignorance. Jada Indriya Tahe Kala. Jada Indriya. So these senses are a network of paths leading to death. Okay, these senses are leading me to death because I do sense gratification, right? So the more I get attached to this material world, the more I get closer to death. Okay, why? Because you get overindulged, you overeat or whatever, you do everything beyond because you want to gratify your senses, so they are leading me to death. Jive fele vishaya sagare. Okay, so somehow or other we have fallen into the ocean of material sense enjoyment. The vishaya sagare means material sense enjoyment. This jiva has somehow or the other fele, he has fallen in this ocean of material sense enjoyment. Tara Madhye Jihvati. And who is the main culprit? And all of the senses. The tongue is the main culprit. Okay. Tara Madhye. This is the center. Jihva. Jihva means tongue. Ati. So that is the main thing. The sense of all the senses. The tongue is what? Lobhamay. It is greedy. What's Lobhamay? Sudurmati. So Lobhamay means it is most voracious. It wants to eat anything and everything. Voracious. And Sudurmati. It is uncontrollable. Take jeta katina samsare. Okay, this samsara is katina. It is difficult to conquer. So in this, it is difficult to conquer the tongue in this world. See, it is even you. All of you must have observed, right? We have a full plate of meal and everything is done. And if someone comes with a box of sweets, can the tongue control without eating it immediately, even though the stomach is full, the belly is full? We at least want to try one piece. Even though we are full, just to satisfy the palate, the tongue, we want to eat. So it is very difficult to control the tongue. That's why they're saying it is very difficult to conquer the tongue in this world. But what happened? Krishna Bada Doya Moy. So Krishna Bada, very Dayamoy. He is very merciful. Krishna is very kind to us. What is he doing? Kari Bare Jihva Jai. What he has given? He has given this nice prasada to help us conquer the tongue. To Jihva Jai, to Jaya the tongue, to conquer the tongue, he has given this nice prasada. Swaprasadana dillo bhai, say annamrita khao. So, therefore, let us take this prasada to our full satisfaction. Okay, prasadana dillo bhai, till dil, to our full satisfaction, we'll eat. Okay. Okay, Radha Krishna Gunagao. And then what to do? Gungao, glorify your lordships, this Sri Radha and Krishna. Preme Dake Chaitanya Nitai. And in love, let us call for the help of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda Prabhu. So this is the thing, okay? So that powerful the tongue is. The only way is we have to give prasada to control the tongue. Okay, and talk only about Krishna Kada. Okay, so there are 6 kinds of rasas, tastes, and if one is agitated by one of them, he becomes controlled by the urges of the tongue. So this is all self-explanatory, but I'll just read it so that you get an idea. Some persons are attracted to the eating of meat, fish, crabs, eggs, and other things produced by semen and blood and eaten in the form of dead bodies. Others are attracted by eating vegetables, creepers, spinach, or milk products, but all for the satisfaction of the tongue's demands. Such eating for sense gratification, including the use of extra quantities of spices like chili and tamarind, is to be given up in Krishna conscious persons. So in Krishna conscious, the prasadam in the boga, we don't put too much spicy items, too salty, too hot items like that. We don't eat. And we don't eat onion garlic. We don't eat. See the use of pan. Pan is also forbidden. Haritaki, betel nuts, and various spices used in pan making, tobacco, LSD, marijuana, opium, liquor, coffee, and tea is indulged in to fulfill illicit demands. So we don't take all these. So if we can practice accepting only remnants of food offered to Krishna, it is possible to get free from Maya's victimization. Okay, vegetables. So what should be offered to the Lord? Vegetables, grains, fruits, milk products, and water are proper foods to offer to the Lord, as Lord Krishna himself prescribes. Okay, so Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right? Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Okay, so those only we offer and then that we eat. However, if one accepts prasada only because of its palatable taste and thus eats too much, he also falls prey to trying to satisfy the demands of the tongue. So that prasada also we should not eat because it's prasada. Oh, I can eat how much ever I want to my satisfaction. No, that should not be the case. Okay, so we should eat prasada only to keep our body and soul together. Okay, it's not to just satisfy the demands of the tongue. Okay, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us to avoid very palatable dishes even while eating prasada. So if we offer palatable dishes to the deity with the intention of eating such nice food, we are involved in trying to satisfy the demands of the tongue. Okay, if we accept the invitation of a rich man with the idea of receiving palatable food, then also we are trying to satisfy the demands of the tongue. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is stated, Jihvara lalase ye iti uti dhaya shishnodara parayana Krishna nahi paya. What are they saying? That person who runs here and there seeking to gratify his palate, who is always attached to the desires of his stomach and genitals, is unable to attain Krishna. Okay? As stated before, the tongue, belly, and genitals are all situated in a straight line and they fall in the same category. So Lord Chaitanya has said, Bhala na khaibe, ara bhala na paribe. So what is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying? Do not dress luxuriously and do not eat delicious foodstuffs. Okay, and even Prabhupada also says, right? Simple living and high thinking. Okay, so those who suffer from diseases of the stomach must be unable to control the urges of the belly. Okay, at least according to this analysis. So why do we get stomach problems? If we eat too much, right? We are not able to control the urges of the belly, right? That's why. So when we desire to eat more than necessary, we automatically create many inconveniences in life. However, if we observe fasting days like Ekadasi and Janmashtami, we saw this in the previous class, right? Fasting is good. Ekadasi, we can restrain the demands of the belly. As far as the urges of the genitals are concerned, there are two, proper and improper, or legal and illicit sex. So when a man is properly mature, he can marry according to the rules and regulations of the Shastras and use his genitals for getting nice children. So he can legally marry and he can use his genitals for getting nice Krishna conscious children. Okay, so that is legal and religious. Otherwise, he may adopt many artificial means to satisfy the demands of the generals and he may not use any restraint. So he should not use any artificial, they say masturbation, right? So that should not, we should not go to such artificial methods. Okay, when one indulges in illicit sex life as defined by the Shastras, either by, she should not even think of sex life or plan of sex life or whatever, talking about or actually having sex intercourse, or by satisfying the generals by artificial means. So if he does in any of these means, he is caught in the clutches of Maya. So these instructions apply not only to householders but also to tyagis, to the renounced people, okay, or those who are in the renounced order of life. So in his book, Prema Vivarta, chapter 7, Jagadananda Pandita says, my dear brother, you are in the renounced order of life and should not listen to talk about ordinary worldly things, nor should you talk about worldly things when you meet with others. Do not think of women, even in dreams. You have accepted the renounced order of life with a vow that forbids you to associate with women. So, if you wish to associate with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you must always remember the incident of Chota Haridasa and how he was rejected by the Lord. So Chota Haridas was actually like a devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He one day he goes to bring rice from a particular Mataji. So there he looks at that Mataji with some bad intention. He just thinks in his mind, that's all. For which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu totally discards him from his community. So because of which Chota Haridas, he leaves his body. He commits suicide. Okay, so and that's how he was rejected by the Lord. So do not eat luxurious dishes or dress in fine garments, but always remain humble and serve their lordship, Sri Radha Krishna, in your heart of hearts. That is what Jagadananda Pandit is saying. So the conclusion is that one who can control these 6 items, speech, mind, anger, tongue, belly, and genitals, is said to be a Swami or a Goswami. So Swami means master and Goswami means one who can control, who's the master of the senses. So when one accepts the renounced order of life, he automatically assumes the title of Swami. So this does not mean that he's the master of his family, community, or society. He must be the master of senses. That is Goswami. So unless one is the master of his senses, he should not be called Goswami. Otherwise, he should be called Godasa, servant of the senses. So following in the footsteps of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, all Swamis and Goswamis should fully engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. As opposed to this, the Godasas engage in the service of the senses or in the service of the material world. That is what we all were doing practically, right? Before we came to Krishna consciousness, we were serving our senses. Okay? So they have no other engagement. So Prahlad Maharaj, what he says, he says, he uses the word Adantago. We cannot become a servant of Krishna. Why? See, he tells this shloka, Matirna Krishne Parata Swatova Nito Abhipadyeta Griha Vratanam Adanta Gobir Vishatam Tamishram Punaha Punascharvita Charvananam. What does this mean? For those who have decided to continue their existence in this material world for the gratification of their senses, there is no chance of becoming Krishna consciousness. Why? Because they are busy satisfying their senses. Where is the chance for becoming Krishna? Where is the chance for chanting for Krishna? Because you want to satisfy your senses and not the senses of Krishna. Right? So the more you get attached to this material world, the more you get farther from Krishna. So there's no chance of becoming Krishna consciousness, not by personal endeavor, by instruction from others or by joint conferences. So they are dragged by the unbridled senses. So unbridled means uncontrolled senses into the darkest region of ignorance. And they lead an animalistic life. What do animals do? Okay, they just eat, sleep, mate, defend. Okay, so they live like that and they go into the darkest region of ignorance, and thus they madly engage in what is called chewing of the chewed. Prabhupada frequently he uses this word chewing of the chewed. So what does this mean? Okay, it describes the futility of repeating material pleasures. You should understand that they are trying to repeat the pleasures again and again, thinking that okay, if I get this set of senses, I will be able to enjoy more. So in the next janma, you will get those set, and then you think no, I should get those set of senses, then I will enjoy. So and in another janma, you will get one more set of senses. Then again says no, not this. I'm not able to enjoy in this. So we think that in different senses, I will be able to enjoy, but materially that enjoyment is never possible. It is like chewing the chewed. See, if you chew a sugar cane, that stick you chew, and all the juice is extracted. Again, if you try to chew it, will you get any enjoyment? See, punar charvita charvatanam, again and again chewing that which has already been chewn. Will you get any pleasure? Any taste? No, right? So it is like that. So this verse is criticizes materialist people who life after life repeat the same thing. They want to gratify their sense. They think, no, if I come in this body, I will get more enjoyment. I will be able to eat more. I will be able to sleep more. I will be able to mate nicely. I will be able to defend. So they think each new attempt will bring them satisfaction. See, but even after repeated frustration, conditioned souls think maybe this time it will taste good. Maybe now if I come in this body, I will, maybe then I will be able to taste. Now I'm not able to enjoy, but if I get this body, I will be able to enjoy. But still they're not realizing that they won't get that happiness. Okay, so that's what, how much ever we do, that's why we have to turn our senses to Krishna. So that he is the only person who can give us that complete satisfaction. Okay, so that ends. Okay, so we saw the solution for all the urges and what we have to do, and we have to get out of the sense gratification and engage our senses in serving Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. Okay, so now, so last time we saw, right, we saw all this overview, we saw atonement, prayaschitta, we saw, then we saw speech, right, how we talk about all these useless things. Krishna Katha is the thing that is required, and not silence like Mauna Babas, like all these the impersonalists, they say, right, you have to suppress all your senses and not talk. That is not possible. So mind also we saw, right, mind is the king. Degrading is artificial attempts to control the mind by negation, saying not this, not this. So what is elevating is thinking of the Lord. And we saw the two agitations of the mind, that is avarodha priti and virodha yukta krodha. Okay, so the mind can be satisfied only when you give Krishna. Okay, that gives satisfaction. Anger is like we said, right, when lust is unfulfilled, we get anger, and we saw that cycle, right? So anger is basically like you're holding a hot coal to throw it at somebody, but you are not realizing that when you're holding that, it is first burning your hand. So that anger is first destroying you before it destroys somebody else. Okay, so that's why the solution is we should use the anger in Krishna's service. Okay, not just materially, we should not use it. We should use it for Krishna service. So if you see the example of Jagai and Madai and Hanuman, you see they use the anger in the service of the Lord, all of them. Okay, so this anger we should express when we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually says that when we get angry, like initially he says that we should be humble like a tree and tolerant like a blade of grass, more tolerant. Then why is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu getting angry? We may understand. He is getting, see, we should not get angry if somebody insults us. Okay, we should tolerate that. It means that, okay, we should be humble and tolerant. When somebody insults us, we should not get angry. We should be tolerant. When should we get angry? When some other devotee is being insulted, then we should show our anger. So that is the meaning. So we should use our anger in the service of devotees and service of Lord. Then it is perfect. Okay. The tongue we saw, right? We should have a prasadam, simple sattvic food at scheduled time. Not we should not eat in the restaurants. Okay, that is the thing. Belly also we saw the desire to, if we overeat then we get disease, and if a young person, sometimes it is okay to eat extra, and for an old person to undereat is good because his digestion does not work. And we should eat to live and not live to eat. We saw solution is fasting for Ekadasi and festivals. And we saw that tongue is directly, if the tongue is controlled, then belly and genitals are controlled. We saw that also. Okay, and genitals we should not use in these 5 types, like thinking, planning, talking, also doing, and artificial needs also we should avoid. Okay, and we should use the genitals only for producing. Legally you marry and you get Krishna conscious children. Okay, so conclusion is you have to tolerate the urges. How? Not suppressing them, but by engaging all our senses in Krishna consciousness. Okay, so this is the end. End of sloka 1. I'm so sorry. I just want to explain more in detail. I've taken a lot of your time. I'm really, really, really sorry. Please accept my humble apologies. I'm so sorry.